It's the Awake Space Astrology Podcast. I'm Laurie Rivers, your host, here to help you with some inspiration to get those aspirations out into the world. Well, my glasses are here. I know I was trying to do daily episodes, but I think I info bombed everybody. It got so quiet. So still going to be short episodes, but I won't do them every day. And I had to wait for my new glasses to arrive. And if you're watching the video at patreon.com/the awake space, it's a public post. It's free. You don't even have to sign up for free to go watch the video. You'll see my new glasses that go with my contact lenses. Yes, I am that visually impaired. Anyway, I had to wait. My eyes were just struggling, and everybody seems to have noticed that I don't look as beat up. So it's good to be able to see. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to use the energy of this new moon. Now, if you want a house by house, blow by blow rundown on how to use the new moon in Scorpio on November, you want to check out the patron only podcast at patreon.com/the awake space. Check the show notes. How are we going to talk about it today? Well, let's talk about the energy and how to use energy. I got asked a really great question on TikTok, and I thought I'd answer that to some degree because I think a lot of times people don't understand how energy actually really works. We still think of it as magic, and it's kind of fun to think of it as magic, don't you think? I think thinking of things as magic is fun, but it is as much science as it is magic, and magic is science, especially at the quantum level, because it's mind-blowing. It's hard to conceptualize it. But somebody asked, why do astrologers keep talking about new moons and full moons and saying the same damn thing every month? And I thought, well, I don't say the same damn thing every month, but I'm sure other people do. But I thought I'd answer that question here and give you some help in how to use that energy to further enliven yourself. So get your tea, get your coffee, get your Red Bull, get your matcha, get your H2O. And whether we're driving to work, keep your hands on 10 and 2. It's going to be a little spicy. Keep your eyes out for other people, but we are going to get perfect parking together. And if we're folding laundry, if we're pulling out the winter holiday decorations, if we're starting to think about Thanksgiving dinner, if we haven't already, if we celebrate, or if we're thinking about what we're going to do next, if we're holding on to whatever is coming up in the news today, we're going to do it together. So let's get started. What if astrology isn't about telling you who you are, but instead a tool to help you become who you can be? That is the big question I've been asking as we move through this new series using your astrology. We have a new moon on November 19th. This new moon is in Scorpio. And if you're in the Patreon and you get the Patreon only podcast, then you saw the chart. You got the moon, you got the sun, and you've got Mercury. So think new moon with a Kazemi. Yeah, Mercury's retrograde. So is Saturn. So is Neptune. So is Jupiter. And they all making a big grand trine. This is unrestricted energy. If you've been working hard on deconstructing, if you've been trying to reshape your thoughts, your language, if you've been trying to decenter patriarchy in your life, whether you're a woman, a man, but non-binary, however you identify, if you've been trying to reshape your understanding of how you can live in the world, it's not enough to acknowledge your privilege. You have to do something with it next. It's not enough to be awake. That's your first step. The whole, oh, they woke up. Yeah, I wake up too. Sometimes I roll over and I go back to sleep. Sometimes I get up and I let my dog go outside to do his business. And sometimes I make my coffee first. Sometimes I have it last. And then I move about my day. It's what you're doing on the daily that matters. It's not enough to be aware. It's not. Actions. Knowledge is not power unless you know what to do with it. And I've said that for years. And this new moon is the perfect time to set your intentions on reclaiming your path and your purpose, to set your intentions on reconstruction in a transformative way, to transmute the harm into healing, to transmute the struggle into thriving, to transmute what they meant to oppress you into liberation. And that's what I'm on about today. But you got to know how to set intentions in order to do that. And I thought that was like the perfect thing to do today. So at the end of this episode, I'm going to give you a little intention setting guide. And I'll have a PDF for patrons. Hey, just a real quick heads up though. Speaking of Patreon, new members. So if you've been listening for a while and you've wanted to join the Patreon, new members at the $15 level and up save 50% on annual memberships. All right. Through November, you still have time. What does that get you? Oh my God, so many resources on learning astrology, on how to navigate your own awareness and your own consciousness, including the ebooks, the videos, the classes, the mini workshops, and special discounts on readings and events like my 2026 Year Ahead event coming up on December 20th, where I'm going to give the revised and final predictions for 2026. This is the second event of 2025. I did the first year ahead predictions in June on the solstice. We're getting real close to the solstice for the second one. If you already attended the last one, remember you get a ticket in. Everybody who signs up in June gets to come in the December follow-up. But if you didn't make it in the June and you want to be there, and I highly suggest you do, because I give you planning tips as well on how to deal with the energy. So you can check that out in the show notes. All righty. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. This new moon. I've been looking forward to it all year. But that's because it's like exactly trying my sun and my Mercury. It's so wild. It's a great time to glow up, not blow up. It's a great time to really own who you are. It's a really great time to own your connection to your soul. We think of our soul and ourselves as separate, and so often people think their souls are damaged, but our souls can't be damaged. That's universal source energy. We are basically fragments of the whole of existence. And when we expire, it goes back to completion and wholeness. We come here for the illusion of separation. We come here for the ride. We come here for some of the struggle. We do not come here to remain in suffering. But we know it's possible. We know it's probable. And yet, consciousness is ever. How we address life matters. And with Mercury conjunct this new moon, this is the time to reshape our beliefs and move forward. Those who do will have a much smoother ride. Those who are attached to their limitations, those who are attached to their pain story, may have to take the route of the phoenix, which I've done that, no blame. But it's much more fun to not have to burn to the ashes and rise up through them. I know it gives a great dramatic tale, but it's not the only way we can alchemize and transform. We can do so by being deliberate in our consciousness. We can do so by checking inside. We can do so by setting intentions that give our mind a focus to move with and through. And before you know it, you've crafted a new reality. It takes time and practice. I think this idea, because so many people were indoctrinated in evangelicalism and even some of the older forms of Catholicism, Catholicism, where you had intercessionary behavior. If I do this and I do it right, then this benefit, I'll get a brownie button. This saint will give me blah, blah, blah. If it doesn't happen, I did it wrong and God is punishing me, right? How many of you grew up with that? A lot, I'm sure. And it's pervasive in the mindset in media as well. And it couldn't be further from a universal truth. The universe isn't handing out brownie buttons and gold stars or, you know, caning you or putting you in a corner or in timeout. Sometimes we're forced to rest because we need to rest. Sometimes we're prevented from doing this thing we want to do because there's an outcome that doesn't benefit us. And of course, we throw little fits about it because we wanted what we wanted. Just like when the two-year-old wants to, play with a butcher knife because daddy used it. You can want what you want. It doesn't mean you need to have it. In fact, sometimes having it isn't to your benefit or for your best interest. So sometimes the universe puts on the brakes. With this new moon, it's so important to set intentions that allow you to be open to the logical next step in your progressive evolution. What takes you forward? And don't think about external conditions. It's not about your lover wanting you. It's not about the job wanting you. It's about having enough to sustain yourself. It's about finding ease and comfort. It is about finding your role in the scheme of things and your service and how that helps transform around you as well as within you. And when you do that, the needs are covered. It's setting intentions around the support not only you give in the world, but allow to come to you. Well, I don't like to ask for help. Well, then struggle. Just struggle. If you're that attached to struggling that you're going to argue about it, and I see this in my comments all the time on TikTok, not as much on the podcast, but on TikTok, the amount of people go, but I had this horrible thing happen, I'm gonna blah, 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 blah. They're really talking to the wrong person. Just because I do not share the entirety of my story does not mean I do not understand struggle and suffering. I completely understand. And I have lived in my pain story. And I became attached to my pain story. And I struggled horrendously because of it. I always say there's a 5-year period I'd love back. And when they say, what age would you go back to? I'd go back to about 31. To about 36, and I would redo that whole 5-year period if I could. But I can't. So I live forward like I did. You can do it like you did it. Because reality is what we make of it. If you want to live forward, if you want your life to be good, you have to know it can be. You have to be able to dream into things. Well, I dreamed before and it didn't work out, Laurie. Try it again. Dream and take action. Did you dream and take action? Maybe you did. Maybe it wasn't the right timing. Maybe it wasn't even the right direction that will be the most fulfilling for you. Maybe you dodged a bullet. Just because something didn't work out doesn't mean you shouldn't try to do something else to be fulfilled. Do you not see, like, the people who are like, well, it didn't work out that one time, and so I guess I just shouldn't even try. When I hear grown people say these things, I'm like, what in the arrested development are we talking about? Sometimes life sucks. Sometimes life doesn't work out. Sometimes things don't go to plan. And sometimes they do and they're glorious and then they explode in a mess. That's life. Sometimes they work out. Sometimes they work out better than you expected. Sometimes just goofing off, something cool happens. Sometimes a geomagnetic storm happens and the world is full of light. Did you see the aurora borealis? I didn't even have my new glasses yet. I got them the next day. And with my scratched up, beat up glasses that was like not only not serving me or correcting me well, I could, it was like having cataracts, okay? I could see the light in the sky. I knew exactly where to point my phone. In the past, I've had to, like, read what direction they were coming in at and, how many degrees above the horizon, etcetera. Kinda like how I caught you should see my pictures of the comet last year. Could not see that with my naked eye, but I moved my camera like 45 degrees above the horizon to make it happen. I caught amazing pictures. Same with the aurora borealis last week. I didn't expect it to be so bright. I was out for 2 hours. I danced, I laughed, I exclaimed. Told my mom if the neighbors thought I was crazy, they were probably right. I sobbed. The brilliance of the experience. If anything, it wasn't just the visual, although it was really cool to be able to see. That'll make me tear up. The fact that it was so bright. And there I was by myself. My family was out by myself. And it felt like I and the universe had conspired to give me sight like anybody else for a moment. I had a brief thought of, wow, if I can see that red in the sky, I wonder what people who can really see can see. I had a brief thought of, what am I missing out on? And then quickly shifted because remember, it isn't about being perfect. The power's in the noticing. I was like, whoa, that line of thought isn't going to help me. What if I conspired with the universe to make this moment happen? What if I did? And what if other people did? But I didn't care about other people's experiences in that moment. I cared about my experience. I cared about my life. It wasn't selfish. It was being fully immersed in the moment, in the presence of this energetic maelstrom. Do you notice how on TikTok, a lot of those, except for the videos, but the photos didn't get a lot of traction? I've sought it out. People have 20 likes, 50 likes, 60 likes, 100 likes. Only the videos got the big likes. I went around just complimenting people on theirs. Thank you for sharing. Because that event brought joy to millions. That event lightened the collective load. Did you notice the information started shifting? Use the energy of a peak experience. We all have them, whether you saw the Northern Lights or not. Long ago, when I was on my healing journey, I would use that memory of myself as a little girl feeding the giraffes. And I've talked about that here on the podcast many times. Being 5 at the Portland Zoo, putting my hand up, and the giraffe's tongue, it was black and scratchy, and it just wound around my arm, and it tickled, and then it took the dandelion, my happy flower. That's what I called the dandelions when I was little, my happy flowers. Because they'd say, they're weeds. I'm like, they're not weeds, they're happy flowers. And I doubled over. I mean, there's a picture of me somewhere, I don't know, my mom probably has it, of me literally bent over clutching my stomach, dancing. You could I'm like a little sprite in that picture. That was the memory. If I needed to switch my mindset, and it's easy now, it wasn't way back 25, 30 years ago. But if I wanted to switch my consciousness from the pain and the struggle and the oppression and the wounds and the despair and the depression and the powerlessness, and it would be like picking up a boulder, and I'd be like, I need to think something, and then into my mind would come the dandelion and the giraffe, and it would become a little lighter and a little lighter and a little lighter. And it took a long time. Don't think you're going to get this right away. It takes time. It takes daily practice. That's why it's a life practice. We're practicing life. Nobody's a master of life. Not even him. Come for me on that one. When you realize you don't need to be perfect. In fact, the story of Siddhartha, Prince Siddhartha, to start at the highest echelon, choose asceticism where he reneged all possessions and austerity in the extreme, to saying, you know what, there's a middle ground. I've had all this, I've had nothing, and here I am in the middle ground, and I've lived that. I've had it all: power, prestige, money. I've had nothing. I live the middle path. It is a daily practice. It is a daily practice of presence. Set your intentions for that. Allow yourself to be transformed. Allow your pain to be transmuted into healing. Allow your sorrow to be transmuted into joy. It's possible. I've lived it. I live it every day. Even when the world is conspiring to trigger the hell out of us, claim victory in your very presence in the world. All right, I think it's time for some patron shout outs, and then I will give you your intention setting guide. Without patrons, there is no podcast. This podcast is 100% listener supported by listeners like you who joined the patreon.com/The Awake Space. You join for as little as $5 a month. Make sure you use a browser and not the mobile app, because the mobile app charges a 30% surcharge. It's nothing to do with Patreon. That's all Apple. So, I mean, if you've got an Android, I don't think that's a problem for you. But if you have an iOS, make sure you're using a browser and you'll save 30%. Right now, you can join the Patreon as a new member and save 50% on annual memberships at the $15 level and up. All right, every week I read out our newest members, and oh, come on. Alrighty. We've got Tess, Melv, Kelsey, K Crazy, Alexander, JW, Miriam, Alyssa, Carly, Marsha, Kena, Deanna, Rachel, Caitlin, Nicole, Kristen, Nan53, Sharita, Lauren, Gale Force Winds, Caroline, Amy, Evie, Carrie, Sloan, Peony, A-Ray, Mia, Leo, Morty, Lindsay, Alyssa, Jewel Sphere, Jay Mintz, Neva, Zen Void, Kelsey, Ms. Laura Dubs, Heather, Shirley, Hopeful 1277, Spooky Latte, Allie, Adriana, Cassandra, Rachel, Katie, Jade, Alex, Nicole, Bethel, Jen, and Salome. Good to have you back, Salome. I see a bunch of you took advantage of the 50% off. Super cool. You can do it. All right. Let's go to the attention setting guide. But before I do, remember, patrons get their special discounts up to 50% off readings. Okay. And my books are open. I think I still have 1 or 2 spots left. If not, I'll open January and December. Shelby and Susie and Damien are not slouches. I have them reading with me for a reason. They are powerful astrologers. So you want to work with them as well. And I know you're saving $200 off a reading with either Susie, Shelby, or Damien this month. So take advantage of it. All right, friends, you know how I feel about wishy-washy magic. Okay, there's powerful magic and then there's wishy-washy. And that's when we hand our power over to whatever component or deity or process. I believe in having a creator consciousness. It's one of the most powerful things we can have. And if you want to move forward, creating and shaping and building your life, then you need a powerful tool. And one of the most powerful tools is written intentions. Handwritten, not phone notes unless you have to, right? Not going to be ableist. However, if you have the capability of writing them down, they're going to be a little more powerful because that's how the brain works. That's brain science. Don't argue with me. So I'm not talking about manifestation or wishcrafting or begging the universe for outcomes. I'm talking about directing your energy with clarity so that your actions, your inner consciousness, and your environment all start lining up, all move into alignment. So you're taking aligned action. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you missed the inner system mapping, go listen to the previous episodes to help this make sense. But this is why writing matters. Okay. When you're writing, especially with this new moon in Scorpio with Mercury involved, when you're writing it down, it's not just an abstract thought, you're making it concrete. This is the first step in realizing things because you're really writing it down on paper. You are energetically and physically on purpose, deliberately crafting something. So you're empowering the intention. Okay. And you have to remember, this isn't going to happen overnight. Although you may see results as soon as 2 weeks start to shape up, things might just start popping into place because you've had clarity. And again, the handwriting is key. So if you can, if you can't, and you have to use digital assets, add a visual component to it and print it out so you can see it. Okay. So this way, it's not just hope. You're not begging. You're not saying, oh, I'll be good. Please, 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 please give it. Your hands are open after you've finished. You've declared your intentions, like the Declaration of Independence. No, we weren't a country yet, but we set very clear intentions. I declare to the universe, this is how I shape my reality. This isn't hedging your bets, hoping things work out. Okay. You can adjust as you go forward. You're not locked in to anything. You can always make a new choice. You can always amend the intention. Okay. Just because you get something that you wanted that you don't really want doesn't mean you can't ask for something else. You're getting clear. Okay. So from there, you're being deliberate. And when we're being deliberate in our consciousness, you're already shaping your reality, the protons and electrons and everything else, the vibe, the frequency to align into materialize. Okay. I know it sounds like magic. It's not. We're all made of particles, neutrinos and quarks and bosons, and those turn into nuclei, and the nuclei is part of an atom, and the atom becomes molecules, and the molecules become matter. So we're part of that. It helps you align your behavior, your attention, your focus, your emotional and your physical energy to help line things up. Now, you're not going to get it wrong, okay? You're not. So stop thinking that. All right. So here's what an intention actually is. An intention is not a goal. A goal is a destination. It's an externalized outcome. An intention is a direction for you to head in. So, knowing your goal, I want to be independent. An intention is I want to be independent by creating my own income. Okay. So, I shall create enough income for me to remain independent. The goal is independence. A clear intention answers three things. What am I doing? Why does it matter? And how do I want to feel as I do it? Okay. And if you're in the Patreon, you'll have a written companion for this bit. Okay. For you to want to be independent. All right. So instead of saying, I want to grow my business, an intention is I show up consistently. My message is clear. People resonate with my confidence and clarity. Okay. That could be something. Or I show up daily and people are excited to see me because I have my energy aligned. So one is a result and an outcome, and the other is a defined and deliberate state of engagement. You're engaging with your own self and you are engaging with your future creation. All right. So you're starting to bridge the gap between the present and the future. Here's the deal. Start with your reality. I'm beginning this from a place of. So right now I feel scared. I've never done this before. Okay. Right. So the truth is I'm scared. The truth is I need more money. That could be where you start. Okay. And then you say, I am able to meet my goals. I've done it before. Even if I'm scared now, I am acting in a way that will make me feel secure very soon. That's an intention. I am going to do practices. The practices, fill in the blanks, will help me gain clarity, remain present, and put my attention on what will grow my future. All right. I'm just using these examples because I think they're easy to resonate with. Using I am statements is the direction. I am growing. I am gaining in confidence. I am more secure than I was 2 weeks ago. Okay. Those are strong directional statements as you build forward. And then add your why. Add your why. It stabilizes your intention. It tells your brain it's important. It matters. Okay. Why? I want to be independent because I'll be the first woman in my family to be self-made and sustaining. I want to be the example, not just for my own daughter, but for women around the world. That's my why. What's yours? And then describe your internal state, the internal state of being connected and aligned. I know I am on my path when I feel secure, confident. I feel attentive and enlivened. And you have that in that episode I did on the sun and feeling your energy levels. I know when I feel enlivened, I am on my path. And when I feel devitalized, I need to make an adjustment. All right. So this is how you set intentions that work for you. It's crucial to be able to connect in to the feeling sensing state. Remember, you're gonna hack your moon, right? Let's put it together. You're gonna mention the reality. Right now, I'm feeling scattered. I really need to get clear. Now you're gonna set your direction. I choose to focus on what supports my growth and let go of distractions. You can get clear. I choose to focus on the one task that must be done today. And I will follow the next logical steps. I like that way better. It's very, very specific. Why? I'm here to use my energy wisely and build something meaningful to myself and my family. Okay. And then check in with your internal state. I move forward with curiosity and steady confidence. I know the thing that's going to motivate me is operating with curiosity. I know the thing that's going to help me move forward is having a sense of anticipation. Oh, I can't wait to see it finished. Right. And that's it. It's simple, it's clean, and it's aligned. And again, if you are a patron at the $5 level and up, you will get your intention setting companion. You already have something in the magazine, but I'm going to make this a PDF worksheet so that you have an easier time setting your intentions every month. This just was a beautiful epiphany that popped into my head today. And I want to thank you all for joining with me in using this powerful new moon energy to build forward with strength, solidity, and transformation. And I tell you, by May 1st of 2026, you're going to see a whole new reality for yourself. So as you move through the week, I want you to keep your written intention somewhere you can see it. You can put it up on your cubby or put it on your desk. It's not a pressure. It's just a reminder. It's just a touch base. That's why I want to keep it fairly positive. And it's to remind you that you chose the direction. You're not forcing yourself. You're not oppressing yourself. You're moving forward. It's not about magic. Remember, you're the magic. And you're using the magic of your brain, your neural pathways. They still don't understand everything about them. And what is magic is that which we cannot explain any other way. I look forward to hearing your results. I look forward to hearing about your experience even before you get results. I'm Laurie Rivers, and I want to thank you for listening to the Awake Space Astrology podcast. Coming up next, well, I think we're going to talk about Jupiter and Saturn in a little different way than you're used to hearing about. Next episode of the Awake Space Astrology podcast.